Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Path of Achra. This is a very old school style roguelike with some kind of like modern game mechanics mixed into it. Don't get me wrong, this is not an old game, this is really new. In fact, it's still getting updated to this day. The game developer is absolutely insane. I think he updated the game once 8 times out of spite just to try and keep up with another game developer he was rivaling with. But yeah, this game's really sweet, and I want to show it off on the channel today. I will warn, this game probably isn't everybody's cup of tea. The graphics aren't what we would describe as like up to date, but the gameplay is really interesting. And if you're a fan of turn-based classic dungeon crawling roguelikes, I think that this is a really good one that you should really have your eyes on. We're on version 1.3, the Blue Tower. I could go through the change logs, but honestly, I'd be here all day. I think we're just going to jump in, and I'll try and explain as we go. So, you pick, when you start your run, a class, a culture, and a religion. And this is like how you customize the beginning of your run. And the rest of your customization throughout the run is how you level up your stats, what you put your points into, and what gear you collect. So it's very much like an action, like RPG style of thing, even though this game is turn-based. I can go into detail about what all these stats do, but I would be here all day. I'll just try and run them off really quickly. Life is how much max HP you have. Speed is how many times per turn you can act. I think every game turn happens at speed 5. So if your speed is higher than 5, you can act more than once per turn. Same goes for the enemies. You have strength, which is your physical damage. Dexterity, which is like your dodge and your block chance. And you've got willpower, which affects how many familiars and summons you can have out. You've got resistances, because there's a bunch of elements in the game. You have armor, block, and dodge, which are your defensive stats. You usually want these to be higher than the enemy's damage stats and accuracy stats. And then you have a bunch of different like buffs and debuffs you can have on your character at any given time, which we'll get into when we get into them. But for this first video here, just to show off what we're doing, I've already completed a run with the 3 basic classes, so I think I'm going to go in with a Naqui this time. So Naqui, a citizen of Mountain Templeland, practices an empowering ritual of attunement. So starts with 225 bonus life, 4 speed. It's a pretty decent spread, but leans towards willpower, so we might want to do a summoning build. He has a fire resistance. Every time we pray, and I'll go into detail on what praying is later, on prayer, increase attune stacks by 20%. On entrance, so when we start the level, we get 5 attune, and per stack of attune, we get plus 10 to our hit, plus 20 armor, and plus 1% damage dealt. So this character seems to be built around stacking that attune onto ourselves and using a ton of prayers to really power ourselves up. So now we've got to pick a class. This is going to indicate what kind of play style we want to go with as we go into the run. There's lots of different things we can choose from here. There's a ton of different play styles we can do. Let's have a read of Templar here, because this also does things on prayer, so it would synergize well with the Naqui. An exalted swordsman of the temple lands, revels in killing and religious devotion. Has 75 extra life, 6 extra speed, 2 strength, 2 dexterity, 2 willpower. Starts with a Shurkegar, brass visage, brass bracers, brass greaves, pretty decent. On entrance or prayer, we apply anoint. On kill, if we have anoint, we get more anoint. And then per stack, we get plus 20 hit and plus 20 dodge. So these two things really stack well together. Really focuses on praying. And it wants us to stay aggressive, because every time we kill an enemy whilst we have anoint, we'll get even more anoint. Now, the big important choice is what god we're going to worship. So the prayer system is kind of like free spells that you can have throughout your run. I think some characters may get more than 3. It depends on what god and class combination you pick. But essentially, you'll start the run with none of them unlocked, and as you progress through the game, you'll unlock prayer 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see here, if we chose Hadad as our god, we would get these 3 prayers. We'd get Neshti, which uses all of its charges to heal us times the charges we used, and removes Scorch and charges when we enter a new area. We have Nesh Zatu, which is 1 max charge and deals fire damage and lightning damage to people, and gives us a charge when we enter an area. And then we have Nesh Gira, which is 3 max charges, and so essentially these are like actives we can use. We have the passive abilities of our stats and our god, but we also have 3 active abilities which we can use, and usually these synergize off of each other. Like using prayer 1 will synergize with prayer 2, using prayer 2 will synergize with prayer 3. But when we're playing with a class combination like Nakwi Templar, we really want to be using these active abilities as much as possible. There is another mechanic for the game where if your prayer is fully charged and you take lethal damage, it will actually give you a divine intervention and it will stop you from dying. So there's actually like a bonus to not using your prayers, but I feel like when we jump into this run, we'll be a bit more aggressive. Let's see what these armors actually do. So the breast braces give us 20 armor and encumbrance, 30 armor and 5 encumbrance. The Shurkigar is a two-handed thing, which attacks in an area if we have two-handed, so we don't have anything in our hand. On kill, heal 50. So this is a very aggressive class. I think this is going to be really interesting. Who we're going to pick? Humbaba. I've heard of good things about Humbaba. The wilderness-born god of war and bloodshed despises civilization, rewards the amplification of rage. So when we enter the level, we get blood rage. When we kill, we heal 10. This is passive. And our prayers deal with blood rage. So this could be a really good combination for Templar and Acqui. Of course, the prayer is going to apply us blood rage, remove bleed, and apply blood rage equal to the bleed we got rid of on ourselves. And we get charged when we kill an enemy whilst under the effects of blood rage. So we'll be like a barbarian. This is very interesting. Urhalhala is deal blood damage to all units in a 2-tower range. Add 1 charge to some Uri, so the first prayer. Plus 2 charge when you enter a new area. Interesting. So this one synergizes with 1, but doesn't really synergize with this. Yeah. 5 max charges. Heal yourself to 25% of your life. Apply bleed to yourself. So that synergizes with the first prayer. Plus 2 charge when you enter a new area. Interesting. Alright, so we like to be bleeding, and we like to apply blood rage to ourselves. Very interesting. I think we're going to jump in here with, let's try and pronounce this. So Radra, the Nakwi Templar of Humbaba. Let's go. And the eye opened, and there were great chasms of light descending. Past the edge, howling dust, dreamless beyond all composition. And in the furthest depths, a smokeless fire, white hills of ash in the abominable glow. Such is gaze and the annihilation of gaze, O king, in the binding breath of Achra. Tablet of Vizier Imp Fragment. So this little intro poem here is like randomly generated, and I think that the actual like colour of the words and the words that I used can help you guess what will show up in your run. And I think it also depends on what class and religion combination you picked. It's a really interesting system. Right, when we get in here, we get a level up straight away, so we have to pick a stat. I think if we're doing prayers and aggressive stuff, we're going to go with strength. So this will give us life, armor, resistances, increase our block, increase our armor, and give us extra damage if we're two-handing. Negates encumbrance, so we'll be able to carry more stuff. I'll explain that later. And raises our minimum speed up to dex plus starting. Cool. So before we take any turn here, this is a grid-based roguelike. You get 8 directional movements. Walking into enemies will deal melee damage. Using your prayers will do other kinds of damage. But I need to talk about 2 very important systems here. The first is the equipment system. So here is where we manage all of the equipment our character wears, all of the armor, all of the weapons. And you can see these by scrolling over them. We can pick up new kinds of weapons at the end of every level. When we get to the world map, you'll see that we can actually see what weapons are available at each level. So you can kind of like plan your path according to what kind of build you want to do. This is also where we see all of our stats, so if you wanted to, you could go into each stat and see exactly how it works. I'm not going to go into mega detail, because if I read all of this off, we'd be here for like 10 minutes. But all you need to know, really, is that these are our defensive stats. We want to scale at least 2 of these, because each of these defensive stats has a 10% chance to fail. So stacking 2 different kinds of defense is usually a good way to make sure you don't die. We want to keep our speed somewhat high, somewhat above 10. The higher this goes, the better, really, because the more we're going to be able to act. Max life isn't mega important. It can be. Some enemies can just one-shot you in this game, but as long as you're good with your defenses, then life shouldn't matter too much. It's good to put a bit of point into life, but for the most part, it's okay. Resistances, it's not too important, but it does help against certain enemy types in the game, so it's good to keep an eye on that. Maybe just try to make sure no resistance falls below like negative 25%. Try to keep everything up as high as you can, but don't worry too much about it. Then we have the encumbrance. This one is pretty important. So when we equip new pieces of gear, they have different weight levels. So you see this one weighs 5 encumbrance, this one weighs 3, this one weighs 5 and has 6 weapon size. For every point of encumbrance we get above our strength cap, we are going to lose 2 speed and we're going to lose 20 dodge. So If we are going for a high encumbrance build, we need to either have a huge strength stat to accompany it, or we need to scale our block and armor so that our dodge isn't a problem. We do also have to watch how slow we are, because if we're much slower than the enemies are going to get like 5 turns when we just get 1. So it's something to keep in mind here. Inflexibility just divides your speed and divides your willpower damage bonus if it's above 1, so we shouldn't worry too much about that. It doesn't usually go above 1, but in the cases where it does, you've probably accounted for it already. Weapon size is interesting. This doesn't do anything on its own, but it is affected by certain other things. These are the buffs we've got on ourselves. We can see those in the level on the side here as well. So you'll see we entered with Attune as per our class bonus, we entered with Blood Rage as per our God bonus, and we entered with Anoint as per our Templar bonus. And there's one more really important thing we need to go into here, and that is the level up screen. So this is where we spend our glory points. Glory points are what we acquire throughout the run by leveling up, and we are allowed to go into any of up to 3 of these class trees here, and each of these has, I think, like 8 to 10. No, 8, 9. Each of these has 9 different like abilities you can do, and they all vary like really wildly. Some of them are similar, like most of them have one of these cults that you can hire to kind of do your bidding for you, but a lot of them, like especially the ones at the top here, the kinesises, just apply things to whenever you attack, whenever an enemy dies, whenever you gain a certain buff, whenever you do a certain thing. They will all impact certain things. So if you've ever played a game like Rift Wizard, it's kind of like that. It's really open-ended, and you kind of need to know what you want to do before you actually go in and do it in this game. It's a game that requires a lot of experimentation. It's a game that requires a lot of trial and error to see what works and what doesn't work. But hopefully in this video, I'll try and give you a sort of like guideline of how you can get started and not feel too overwhelmed, because this is really overwhelming the first time you see it. But really, it's not that bad. All you need to do is experiment, try different things. Do spend some time to read all of these, because you'll kind of get an idea of how they all interact together, what kind of things they want you to do. Really, what you're going to do on most runs out of 10 is focus on one skill tree kind of heavily, have a second skill tree you do kind of at the side, and then have one skill tree you just put a couple of points into. And that's because of this over here. So this is a mastery system. So you'll see that there are a bunch of different masteries in the game, and usually how you get these is like you'll get them for free if you reach a certain amount of points in a certain skill tree. If I have 25 points across Martial, I'll be able to spec into Champion, and this will be like a completely free upgrade, and it will give us the stuff that we see here. Usually these are really strong and worth working towards. It's kind of helpful to know what you want to do as far as the mastery is concerned from the very start of the run. So let's pick something we want to do here. We are a Templar, we know we care about Prayer, we know we care about Anoint, and what's the other stat called? Attune. So maybe we'll see if anything works with that. I have won the game with Flame Knight before, so I don't think I'll be doing that again. Let's have a look at Frost Knight here. Per point of strength, 2 encumbrance. On being attacked, apply freeze to the attacker. On hit, if the target has freeze, deal blunt damage. It's okay. Astral physical damage. On ally enemy death, bare fist. Executioner. I kind of want something that cares about two-handing. This cares about two-handing. This requires points between blood and martial. Gain bonus armor equal to 5 times your strength times your weapon hand size. On adjacent attack, if two-handing, deal slash damage to the target. Repeat with blood damage. On kill, heal 100, perform an extra attack. This seems really cool, so we might be speccing into blood here. Blood has a lot of self-damage. Oh, and it has things that apply bleed, so that would work really well with our god, Humbaba. Yeah, I think we're doing blood here, so let's have a look here. So we can get Hemokinesis. On hit, apply bleed to the target. On apply bleed, deal blood damage to enemies. Interesting. Gore Cleave. We want... One thing you really want early in the game is some sort of healing. So let's have a look here. Per skill level, plus 50 to hit and plus 2 to speed. On attack, deal slash damage to yourself, deal blood damage to adjacent units. So self damage is interesting. It is reduced by your armor, but it isn't affected by your resistances. Okay, here's a healing skill. Royal, blood element. On hit, heal yourself, add inflame to yourself, deal fire damage to yourself. Interesting. On dealing blood damage to an adjacent unit, heal yourself. On being dealt physical damage, deal blood damage to adjacent units. This seems really good. So when we take damage, we deal blood damage. And then when we deal blood damage, we heal. This seems good. I'm going to take this. And then I wouldn't mind another healing skill as well. So on attack, apply bleed to yourself. This works really well with Humbaba. Because blood rage is also a source of healing. We could rely on this for our healing. Because if we use our first prayer, some Uri, we remove all of our bleed and we apply blood rage, and per stack of blood rage we heal 5 on hit. So that could be our source of healing. This seems really good. So Master Bleed. On being dealt damage by an enemy, deal blood damage equal to the stacks of bleed on yourself times 5 times skill level. Seems really good. You no longer take damage from any source triggered by bleed. Whoa. So we don't take damage from bleed either? Okay, this seems really good. So now whenever we attack an enemy, we should get bleed, and we should be able to not take damage from bleed, and to use some Uri to get rid of the bleed. Alright, let's go in. I'm going to use the number pad to move towards this enemy here. If you want to learn more about the enemies, you can click on the little icon here, and we get to read about them. This doesn't have their stats on, but if we scroll over it, we can see. This guy's a range of 2, which means that when I step to this tile, he's probably going to start attacking me. There you go. And he has the ability Dooming Touch. So on hit, he applies Doom to me. Don't think I have any yet, because I don't think he hit me. I think I dodged it. Which, by the way, the console for this game kind of goes a bit crazy. This fills up so quickly. Like, when you get to the late game, you'll just, like, get, like, pages upon pages of things. So don't worry about this too much. I am getting bleed, but I'm not taking any damage from it. I'm not taking damage at all, actually. I'll use some Uri. This gives me blood rage, and then I'll be able to get another charge of some Uri by dealing blood rage damage. We'll take another point in strength. And just like that, we're through the first level. Not too bad. We have 2 charges of our prayer. I want to spec into something that cares about two-handed weapons here, so let's have a look. On adjacent attack, if two-handing, deal damage to adjacent units, which is main hand damage type, 10% of main damage hits and skill level. So I'll probably take Might as well. So I'll spec into Might. I'll spec into Blood and Martial because that gets me the Executioner skill. The Executioner Mastery. It's definitely what we're going for on this run. But yeah, hope that all makes sense. We're just going to try and get through this first level here. I don't think we're going to have any problems. We have rat people to deal with. Rats like to give each other buffs, I'm pretty sure, if they're close to each other. But again, I don't think they're going to be able to deal any damage to me. I'm not dealing very much damage myself. So maybe I want to spec into something that gets me a bit of AoE damage. They're getting a lot of evasion, which means that we're not going to be dealing very much damage. I think we're okay though. I have 114 stacks of bleed. So if I chant some Uri now, I get 121 stacks of blood rage, which is really funny. Yeah, this blood adds up really quickly, but since we're not taking any damage from blood, it's completely fine. Right. Our accuracy is really low. This is associated with our weapon. You'll see here 60 accuracy. It has a base 60% chance to hit, but it does compare against... No, it's not a percent chance to hit, sorry. This checks against the enemy's evasion, and if it's lower than its evasion, then it rolls for a 10% chance, and then if it's not that 10% chance, we don't hit the enemy. That makes sense. Could do Hemokinesis. On apply bleed. Does that include applying it to myself? Is there anything that applies bleed on the target? No, but I wonder. I'm gonna check this. I wonder if this counts on me applying bleed to myself. It does. Oh, that's interesting. So it doesn't matter if I apply it to an enemy or myself. You'll notice that now every time I apply bleed, even to myself, it deals blood damage in a path to 2 enemies within 2 tower range. So we've finally got some like decent damage now. That doesn't rely on our accuracy to work. Right, we got some stuff here. We got a Dread Sash. Yeah, at the end of every level we get up to 4 items, maybe sometimes even more than 4. Usually it's like 3 to 4, sometimes 2. I am not going to worry about this just now. Let's see what we got here then. This gives us 5 armor, 1 encumbrance. On dealing physical damage, redeals 25% of it as death damage. I'm going to put this on. It's good to have an extra piece of armor. In fact, is this better? We do drop quite a lot of armor from that. Gives us some resistances. I'd rather have the extra armor right now. Look at our dodge and speed effect, by the way. We'll get more dodge if we put this Dread Sash on. I'll think about it. On dealing physical damage, apply Doom to the target. This has 35 armor, this has 20, this is just better. It does lower our dodge, but this is a really good piece of equipment this early on. We don't have any chest armor. On Shrug Off, summon 2 serpents. So Shrug Off is if our armor is higher than the damage that was dealt by the enemy. This is like a flat reduction, but if it completely reduces the amount of damage, it's classed as a Shrug Off. So this is really good. I'm going to put this on. Makes our encumbrance huge. Inflexibility is kind of bad. We only have 9 speed now, because it's being divided by 3. I don't think our speed is going to matter too much. We are just going to tank most of it. This is a Tachi. 170 accuracy, 170 hit slash. Not two-handing. Deal slash damage to an adjacent enemy. I'm not going to worry about this. What you can also do is I can show this here. You can sacrifice your equipment to give your currently equipped equipment in that slot extra bonuses. So if I sacked the brass gauntlets here, it would give my blight gauntlets 5 armor and plus 20% life. Plus 20 points of life. So that's pretty good. Something you'll want to do once you start getting a full inventory. Right, and now we get to the world map. So a bit like Slay the Spire, you get a bunch of different areas you can go to. And then your end goal is to get to this tower, and then after this tower there's another section, and then that's when you beat the game. When you scroll over these places, you get to read a little bit about the area that you're going to, and you get to see what enemies are present here. This is important, because sometimes the enemies you face will completely counter the build you're doing. Like, sometimes they'll be completely immune to certain debuffs, or they'll give you a debuff which completely destroys your build. So it is really important to read these from time to time, just to make sure you're not getting absolutely screwed over. But you can also see what rewards are waiting for you at the end. So usually the harder the enemies, the better the loot. So let's have a read here. Gain armor equal to the stacks of effects on self. Wait, hold on, that's broken. Because we are applying Blood Rage and Bleed to ourselves, so we should probably go for this. Yeah, I'm going to try and go for this. This is 20 armor if unencumbered. Less inflexibility. I don't think we're going to be unencumbered for a long time. On step, perform an extra attack. Is that only if unencumbered? I don't think so. Are we ever going to be unencumbered? I mean, we've got quite a long way to go, but maybe this will be good. Is it better than my current one? 30 armor, 20 armor. I don't know. Is it less encumbrance? Just a little bit. So maybe I'll take that. This is not a two-handed weapon, so I don't really care. And this gives our summoned allies stuff. So we're not doing a summon build, so that's not bad. Let's have a look at the enemies and see if anything really kills us here. What you really want to check is these passive abilities here. So when an ally dies, this heals and gets max life and gains hit. That's fine. What's his base damage? 120, and he has 80 accuracy. Am I tanking that? I'm not dodging it, but I will block it and defend it with my armor. So I'm not too worried about this. He does apply corrosion, which reduces my armor and deals fire damage to me. Now we have this Gore Idol. What is the range on this? 1 range, and he does pierce damage. This has 1 range as well, but it summons these things. Every game turn or on being dealt damage, he summons a Gore Nymph. And on summon, he deals damage to itself. When we stand next to him, he'll attack me. Or when we kill it, he deals damage to all units in a 2-tile range. So he kind of explodes. Applies bleed to people near him. And does not move because he's a statue. I think we can manage this, so let's go. But yeah, you can see like the real retro roots of this game. It really feels like one of those old MS-DOS like roguelikes, and it's one of my favourite genres is classic roguelikes. And I think this game really pulled it off fantastically. So these are mine. Because we are shrugging off these enemy hits, I'll stand still just to show you. Every time we shrug off, we're going to summon these familiars. There is, though, a cap to how many familiars we can have summoned at a time, and that is dependent on our willpower. So just something to bear in mind here. What do I want to get next? Something that helps. Because I do need more points, too, in this. Deal blood damage to adjacent units. On deal... Apply bleed, deal blood damage. Apply 5 bleed to the target, apply 5 bleed to yourself. Dealing blood damage to an adjacent unit. Hold on, I'm thinking. Yourself. I think I'm going to take this Gore Cleave on attack deal slash damage. The damage is 100 times the skill level, self damage is unaffected. Oh, it's to myself and then I deal blood damage to adjacent units. Let's try it. I do kind of want to get this might. Where is it? Yes. Per skill level, we get 100 to hit, which is just a base damage bonus. And then it deals damage to adjacent units. Okay, cool. Let's go. We'll save up for might now. How many points have we got between the two already? 13? We're almost there, to be honest. Right. Just going to run in here, be aggressive. I will chance some Uri if things get a bit dangerous here, which I'm starting to think they will be. Chant. And now we have enough Blood Rage to be healing every time we hit an enemy. Yeah, there we go. You can see how we just healed straight up to full. And as long as this prayer is fully charged, we will not die in one hit, which is good. I'm going to chance some Uri again. Hopefully heal back to full. Fantastic. And then we move on to the next area. So every time we level up, we gain this stuff called Glory, and I think Glory just gives us some points towards the difficulty progression of the game, and also is just for bragging rights, really. I think the end point of the game is to try and get your Glory as high as possible. It's kind of like an idle game. There's a button you can press, 0, and it just plays the game for you. So the game definitely like kind of expects you to turn your brain off a little bit. Also, we get all of the items, the lovely stuff. Means we didn't die. So I'm definitely putting this on, because this is going to give me armor equal to the number of effects on me. So, yeah. When we get Blood Rage, once we get Bleed, it's going to give us extra armor. It gives us good resistances too, and I think it doesn't have better base armor than the Snake armor, but it's very good, and I think I'm going to keep it for the rest of the game, so I'm going to sacrifice onto it. And then we got the Maruna Sash, so on step we perform extra attacks, which is really cool. And then if unencumbered, we get less inflexibility. I am going to sacrifice 2 of these onto it, hopefully to scale it up to closer to where I want it to be. I'm going to save my weapons because I might get a better two-handed weapon, and I'd rather sacrifice onto that than onto anything else. Alright, here we are. Beast Visage is kind of weird equipment that is used for one of the masteries in the game. Certain masteries are locked behind certain pieces of equipment, so here requires Beast Visage equipped or main hand axe weapon with at least 300 base hit. So usually they are to be left because they're a bit tricky. Like, it wants us to have empty chest armor, which is a bit risky. Plus, towers, by the way, this green tower, this purple tower, this red tower, are usually really hard areas, as well as these temples here. So it's best to stay away from them if you can, because they're usually really difficult. Let's see if there's anything that we can use. So this is a two-handed weapon. It has 300 to hit, and 80 to accuracy. So it is a strict upgrade. It has less block. On attack, if two-handing, and it attacks in an area if two-handing. So it's better damage. If two-handing, perform a hit against one adjacent enemy. So it deals extra hits. It does care about blunt damage, though. Is there anything stopping me from doing that? Do I care about the kind of damage it is? I don't think I do, so I think I'm going to go here. Don't care about this because this is on dealing death damage. Golden Helm. Do I have a helmet already? I have a brass helmet, so that's 10 armor. This has 25 armor, and on being healed, apply Inflame to yourself. This seems really good. I'm going to go for this. I think the gold armor set is really good because the chest piece stops you from losing your Inflame as well. Usually you lose, I think it's 50% every time you get hit. But if you have the golden armor, no siree. So we are gaining armor. So you'll see that we have 662 now when I move. When I attack and get more stats, we have 647. When I chant this... Holy shit, I died. I wasn't expecting to die. Oh, brother. And that's just what happens in this game. Sometimes you just die. So I think what happened there is I chanted to try and get the blood rage, but what I should have really done is attack to heal instead. It happens. But I was trying to demonstrate that as our stats went up, our armor was giving us even more armor. I think it was a strong line. I just think that we kind of ran into a really unfortunate set of enemies, which was thousands upon thousands of rats. O struggler of rising bloodthirst, seeker of the gore cloud, thy death passes to legend on the glimmering path. How sad. And we're going to jump into another run with the same class. We're going to do a very similar thing. But as you can see, the intro poem has changed. The shores of thy birth have vanished, O Achra. The ocean calms in the devastation. The world is upheld by pillars of red clouds. The path extends, silver and winding, Through the deadly land, through recurring annihilation, praise Humbaba, glory awaits, Humbaba commands you through the final days. It's the verses of Achra. So yeah, very similar thing. I'm going to go for the strength again, and I am just going to go for the same skill as the one that was healing me before. It's Bloodbath. On dealing blood damage, heal. On being dealt damage, take it. And then I'm going to get Master Bleed as well, and I will get Hemokinesis next. I think it's a pretty strong build idea. Oh, we got these guys. These guys teleport towards you and just deal damage. It sucks. You want to kill them as soon as possible. And then these guys shouldn't be too bad. You definitely want to get Hemokinesis as soon as possible. And I might even spec into Fire, but the problem is if I'm going for the Mastery that cares about Blood and Martial, I kind of need to really focus on that or else I'm not going to get it in time. Just double check what it does again. If two-handing, we deal slash damage to the target and repeated blood damage on kill, we heal 100. It seems really good. Yeah, it seems really, really good. I do want to try and go for it. Maybe we'll spec into Might more. Do I care about Dexterity? I really don't think I do. Maybe I'll put some points into Vigor so I can get more max HP. Maybe my initial assessment of max HP was incorrect. Okay, he's dead. We'll go into the Hemokinesis now. Fantastic. Moving on. But yeah, this game's really fun. I really enjoy it. It's a thinker. It gets you thinking. There's a lot of reading involved. Willpower's pretty good too. Gives us extra healing. Should I just be speccing into this instead? I think I should be, because it'll give me extra healing and extra damage. So we got the gold helmet straight away, which is kind of sweet. That's what we wanted last time. This isn't a two-handed weapon, but it does care about dealing blunt damage. Yeah, I'm just going to move on here to the next. Let's see here. So this is a blood weapon? No, it isn't. Never mind. This has adjacent shrug off, deal extra damage. This is a fire weapon. This is an astral weapon. Let's have a read of this though. This cares about two-handing. On dealing fire damage, if two-handing, 200% of the damage is dealt again as astral to an adjacent enemy. Meh. On standstill, apply meditate. This cares about blocking, don't care. This is a two-hander. On hit, teleport the target to a random location. This also has range. Yeah, this has some range too. It cares about two-handing as well. I think I'm going to go for this. Am I scared about any of these enemies? You have impact, you have projective force. That's fine, I think. Damage is 130, 150. I think we're good. We're going to go here. I like what's on offer. I like the chakrams. I think having a ranged weapon as opposed to a melee weapon early will help a lot. So I don't want to be stood here because these red squares are where an enemy is trying to attack. Some enemies don't attack directly next to you. They like make those little squares on the floor instead. This episode's probably going to be a big talker. There's a lot to talk about in this game. I'll take armor again. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're good. I'm just going to save up now for might, I think. Is there anything else I want? No. Technique gives us extra attacks and extra speed. I'm probably going to learn technique instead, unless I want to get something else. Summon a number of bleeding dead equal to the skill level. On hit, heal yourself, apply inflame to yourself, deal 15 fire damage to yourself. Per skill level, 50 max life. On game turn or divine intervention, if enemies live, deal blood damage to all units in a 3-tar range. I'm going for Gore-Tired. That sounds badass as hell. That sounds awesome. Awesome. What is the mono blood mastery? There's one that's just blood, right? Where is the one that's just blood? Should be anyway. Trying to find it. And what on earth is that? Horror? Interesting. Oh yeah, 25 points of blood. So we get Blood Mage. On applied bleed, deal blood damage to all units in a 2-tower range equal to 10% of your max life. On game turn or stand still or self damage, apply 6 bleed to all enemies. That sounds awesome. No, I'm going for that instead. We're just going for the pure blood build. Why not? That sounds awesome. Just care about applying blood damage to everybody. But we're gonna need that Gore Tide. Let's collect the Star Staff. Let's collect the Chakram. That's the Silepius. Gonna put this on in my main hand. So now we have a ranged weapon. Has the same damage. Actually, no, much less damage. But it does teleport enemies away from me. I think that's pretty decent. Do we care about adjacent? Let's see. Guess we do a little bit. I'm gonna keep this weapon on though, just in case. I'm not gonna sack anything yet. Let's just go. In fact, no, because it cares about percentage of the stats on the weapon, and I want some extra max life. So let's do this. So that takes us up to 475 max life. Not bad. Where to then? On hit, apply Inflame to yourself. Part of the golden armor set. I think I do kind of like that. Any stacks of freeze up. Two-handed thing. Crystalline armor on shrug off a block, apply meditate. That wants us to be stood still though. I don't really want to do that. Don't really want to go to the tower either. Nah. I think I'm gonna go here and just take that armor. It's kind of bad, but it is extra armor, which I kind of want. So let's just go. Yeah. One thing about this game is that it is very, very difficult. Okay, so we got more mice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around this corner and I'm going to let them come to me. This is a classic roguelike strategy. Take more strength. Yeah, let them come to you, because then this way you don't get like overwhelmed by like 100 enemies. I'm going to let them come to me. Because eventually the summoners will kill themselves. There you go. We just need to level up one more to get Gore Tide. Again, let them come to you so you don't get hit by 100 enemies at once. There we go. Not leveled up just yet. Strength. I'm just going to focus down one stat here. Okay, we got a choke point. Oh yeah, it attacks in a path if two-handing, doesn't it? The Chakram's like attacking a line. I'm going to hold 0 here. Let the game play itself for a little bit. There we go. We get the sash, get the eye, get the plating, get the whatever you say. Put this on, get a bunch of extra block. Do we care about any of this? On dealing ice damage, on dealing astral damage, no. It counts as a bare fist. On dealing psychic damage, no. I think all of this can go. Yeah, it's not great. Right, let's go for the Gore Tide. Yes, on game turn, deal blood damage to all units in a 3-tower range. Get a bunch of stuff. See, summon hemoglobin on entrance or divine intervention. What else does he do? That rends enemies. Summoned familiars are not limited by your willpower. On self damage, apply bleed. To a random ally gains speed. Ugh, it's like summoner stuff. I'm not doing summoner stuff. Not yet, anyway. It's not a two-handed weapon. It looks cool, though. On attack, deal fire and pierce damage in a path to the target. Maybe I could take that. I'll try this out. This guy resists blood a little bit. Has sickening touch and tracking. You have corrosive touch. Protection from death. So every time an enemy dies, this guy's going to get some protection, which means he can't take damage. The doom is fine. The corrosion isn't really. Is this guy any better to deal with? Astral damage and flame. Every time people... Oh no, on game turn. On game turn. That's a little scary. What's this? Summon 2 Lapsy. I'm not sure. Kinda want this weapon, so I'm gonna go for this weapon here. So we're gonna need to get in here. I'm going to focus on these guys first, because they are the problem. There we go. I'm going to go for a point of willpower for every 2 points of strength. I think that's a good spec there. But these guys get inflamed every time we move, so the real solution is to not move. Lovely stuff. Moving on. We need more ways of applying bleeds to people. Is it on apply bleeds to an enemy? This blood mage? No, it's just on apply bleed. So maybe we should get master bleeds leveled up. Okay. Interesting. We'll go for technique. Probably isn't a bad idea. Come to me. Right. Sweet, 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 sweet. Seem to be in pretty good stead here. Come to you. How slow are we? I'm feeling really slow. We have 11 speed, so we're not mega fast or anything. Oh, this does damage equal to our missing life. It's also on self-damage as well. So yeah, the Gallblade is really good here as well. I'm going to equip this. I feel like this is going to be better. This deals fire and pierce damage in a path to the target on attack. It's equal to 10 times strength times pierce damage times... this fire damage scales with strength, pierce damage scales with dexterity. So I think I'm going to go into pure strength now. Try and get something that works well with this. Oh my god, cave worm. This thing looks horrifying. It has 500 damage. I don't think I can deal with that. Summons Brungles. Corrosion. Gets extra attacks, gets extra blocks. Holy moly. That thing looks horrifying. No, I definitely can't go there. That's a bad idea. It's a red axe. It has resist blood. And killing an enemy, heal yourself. Perform 3 adjacent attacks against other enemies. It does give us some blood resistance too. It does heal myself. Equal to my strength. So that's really good. I think I'm going to do that. Per point of encumbrance, do extra physical damage. Oh, wow. Like all of this. On being dealt damage, apply corrosion. On step, remove corrosion. Emerald skirt seems really good. I have a plan. We're going over here. I've not read these guys, so hold on. Yeah, they will get inflamed if we move. They get an area attack. And they get hit. And then this guy does like a little earthquake around him every turn. So we're just going to stand still. And we're just going to let them come to us. Plus our meditate will go up. I don't know what's giving us the meditate. Oh, it's this. So every time we shrug off, we get meditate. If we move, we will lose that. And it is a lot of damage. So I'm not going to worry about moving. I'm just going to stand still. Oops. And let them come to me. Moving on. And then we're just going to go hard into strength. Because if we do go for... If we do go for that axe, we're going to want to scale with strength. There we go. Okay, this is the last one. Just let them come to you. Here they come. Okay, and we've survived. We get the brute plating, the red axe, the emerald skirt. I think that's all the free I'm wearing. This does have 7 encumbrance, but that's good. Because we want more encumbrance now, because every time we have a point of encumbrance, we get extra physical damage. Yes, now we're talking. And whatever this is not as good. So we're just going to start sacking things. There we go. Now we're starting to get strong. This is where we start scaling crazily. So two-hander cares about inflexibility. Don't really care too much. And it deals ice damage. Not too worried about it. Armors, don't really care. These are all kind of bad. I'll probably go here because we get more stuff. Let's have a look at this guy. He has protection harm. On being dealt lots of damage, apply protection to self. Deal fire damage, deal ice damage, deal lightning damage. Do I have these resistances? Fire, ice, lightning. Ugh, it's a little tricky actually. 250 damage though. We do have the armor to shrug it off. We do not have the block. We don't have the dodge either. And here's one block. I'm at chilling touch here. So we'll try and freeze us. Yeah, it gives us less dodge and speed. I'm not too worried about that. I think we can get away with this, so let's go. We do also have this prayer charged. This is the one that deals blood damage to a bunch of things. I'm going to let this guy come to me. There we go. We are ever so slightly faster than these guys. So we're just going to keep going for them. Go. Do I care about anything here? No, I think I just kind of want to go for Master Bleed. On someone, deal 15 blood damage to yourself, apply 1 bleed to an enemy. Is there any other way I can get to? There's Fire Healing, which is on dealing fire damage. Heal myself and also do stuff. Extra armor on shrug off, deal blunt damage to an enemy. Wait, if we deal blood damage to an enemy, if we deal blunt damage to an enemy, that counts as a hit, I think. Which scales really well with, actually does really well bleed, because then I think we're doing this. This seems really good. Because we apply a hit back, it's going to deal blood damage, it's going to kind of combo with itself. Yeah, look, we're getting a bunch more triggers on our heal. I'm going to chant some Uri, because we have another fully charged prayer now. We aren't dying, which is good. I do need to get another couple points into blood, so I'm going to go for another stack of blood mastery, I think. We get the chance anyway. Then Yija, Sita Kamaband. That hurts, but we're fine. Dread Sash. And I'm just going to sack all of these onto my current equipment. I'll double check what this does though. Apply repulsion to yourself. 1 hour for a stack of repulsion. Nah, I don't care. Let's just sack all of this stuff. We'll just get stronger that way. Let's see here. It's all stuff I don't care about. This is a blunt weapon. It deals damage in a line. Do need lots of encumbrance. This has 11 encumbrance. This only has 8, but this is also a really good weapon in general. Your encumbrance times 5. I think I'm going to go for this Warhammer because I'm doing an encumbrance build, aren't I? I'm not worried about this Helliot, but I am worried about Torch Priest because it's going to summon burning bodies and they can be a little dodgy. This armor is really bad, but I'm just going to go and sack it. Right. Let's try and go for this really strong weapon I've seen. Cares about our encumbrance. I'm going to shape up to be a slightly longer video, I think. Go. And more strength because we want more armor, more encumbrance ability here. Yeah, we're just going to save up our points because I want to get another point into Master Bleed here. Unless this is better. What is this? On dealing blood damage to yourself. In fact, yeah, this will increase our healing. I think I'm going to do this as well. Because our shrug off is going to deal blunt damage and then that's going to deal extra damage. Yeah, 75 times skill level. Yeah, it's going to be good. We'll level that one up. I think that's going to get us closest to being strong. If you don't understand what's happening, by the way, I completely understand. Like, I didn't understand what was happening the first time I played one of these games either, but it's something that I've learned after a long time. I'm going to sack this now. I'm going to sack this as well. I like my Emerald Skirt better because it helps get rid of Corrosion and Scorch and Doom. All things that could potentially kill me. Blood Weapon. On prayer or stand still, apply bleed to all enemies in a 4-tower range. Hold the phone. On apply bleed, deal blood damage to all enemies. Equals 10% of your max life. And then this is just apply bleed to everything. Stand still. I think we're doing that. It's much less encumbrance though. I can give it a try. What's this enemy here? Oh, this is a forbidden place. So usually forbidden places have one really strong type of enemy. And they'll usually kill you, but I think we're going to go for it. You gaze upon the Lapis Gate, a forbidden place. The stars here seem to produce smoke. You feel burning on your skin. Scour does 500 damage, has some abilities, gets inflamed when we move, applies bleed to us. We're fine because we don't take damage from bleed. Scorch is fine as well, and gets extra attacks. I think we can actually handle this. We have the offense, we have the defense. As long as we don't fail the roll on defense, we should be fine here. Oh, don't move, by the way, bad idea. Just let them come to you. Uh-oh. I'm going to keep my chant. Oh shit, I'm going to step back. I need to heal here. Okay, I managed to get a lucky attack off. I'm going to go with Vigor so I don't die. I think we're surviving. Barely. Oh, we survived. What a miracle, right? That was not looking very good, but we managed to squeeze past it. We get the Crimson Staff. Am I actually going to play with this, though? I'll keep it for when I get the Blood Mage. But I don't know if I'm actually going to use it. I need to get 2 more points in order to get that level up. What is this? On attack with a bare fist, heal yourself equal to your dexterity. When dealing slash damage, 50% is redealt as blood damage. There's a lot of stuff to sack here. This is also a forbidden place. This guy resists blood 90%. I think that's a very bad idea then. We're going to have to go here. This guy has Piercing Nova. What's this do? Does astral damage, applies inflame to himself when players summon. I am completely fine with this. I'm not going to walk into somewhere where it has 90% like frost resistance. I'm not stupid. I might be stupid, but I'm not dumb. Okay. We're doing good. We're doing good. Level up. Get my strength up. Go again. Okay. I'm just going to walk into them. Okay, we're not dead yet. I'm going to try and get a heal off of the Blood Rage here. We're good, we're good. Not healing as much as I would hope. Again, these guys are just going to walk to me, and I'm going to smack them dead. Doing good, doing good. Get another point of strength, and we do get the, whatever this is. What does this do? Per empty armor slot, I read that, and I want it to be actually physically ill. I'm going to level up. I only need 1 level up now. I'm going to try and level up anything with a free cost to level up. There isn't any, so I'm going to try and level up Master Bleed next. Unless there's something better. No, this gives us max life. And this cares about on blood damage being dealt, right? No, it cares about self damage. I don't know then. I think I'll go for Gore Chant because that's also self damage. Oh, no, is it this one? Yeah, on hit, heal myself, deal fire damage to myself. I think I'm going to take that one because I want more sources of self damage. Slash damage, astral damage, no. These guys have mega range, and I think that would just kill me. I need something with good inflexibility. I think I'll just go here. These guys do resist blood, actually. Are they going to just apply a bunch of bleed to me? They are. This is a bit scary, actually. They are mainly just bleeding me. So if I have other sources of damage, that shouldn't be a big deal. Is this a better weapon? I don't think it is either. Could just go here, but again, huge range enemy. Acid Beast's really scary. We'll go here. I think this is the least likely to end in my death. We just need to make sure we kill them before too many game turns pass. And we do love having bleed. Halhala. Okay, we're fine. We'll get another charge on this when we enter the next area. 2 charges whenever we enter the next area. Interesting. Now, moving on. Let's keep hitting these guys. More strength for me, please. Moving on. Is it okay to just press autoplay? I think it might be. I'm going to let the game play itself a little bit here. Just look, we're healing it through it. Get the ice gloves, get the Astra blade. Don't think I need any of these, so I'm going to sack them. And we have 1 skill point. We need to save up 4, and then we'll be well on our way. Never seen this enemy, a Basilisk. Doom Aura, Dooming Touch, Doom Skin. It's going to give us a bunch of Doom. It's 10,000 life and deals 800 damage. I think I'll pass. This seems really good though. On apply bleed, deal blood damage to adjacent units. This seems really, really good. Oh boy, yes it does. I kind of really want it. That seemed really, really decent. Am I going to go for it? Screw it. We're getting up to an hour in the video anyway. Let's try and risk it here. Do we care about standing still at all? Nope, we'll let them come to us. If we die, we die. I gotta risk it for the chocolate biscuit today. Coming up on time on the video anyway. Can't go for too long. Plus this will probably get me the EXP I need. We level up a bit. Oh, cursed egg, pilgrim, wretchedness awaits. Yeah, usually when you get to like the harder areas of the game, the enemies start like chanting stuff at you, which is really cool. It really adds to the atmosphere of the game. Strength. This game needs you to use something called an imagination. Definitely. You need to really immerse yourself in the world of Achra, and you really need to feel like the pilgrim escaping the inexorable flood. There's a YouTuber that did a really good video, I can't remember the name, but they like did an animation of their gameplay of Achra, and it was really cool. Like he pitched his game, he pitches like Let's Play as an animation. It was really interesting. We're not at the end yet. Come on. Okay, we're leveled up, which means we can get our mastery now, because we're going to get Royal for the self-damage, and then we're going to get Blood Mage. In fact, there's a few things we can get. You can even get Paragon. On standstill, apply that to yourself and applying non-harmful. No. We'll go for the Blood Mage. On apply bleed, deal blood damage to all units in 2-tower range, equal to 10% of our max life. On game turn, slash standstill slash self-damage, apply 6 bleeds to all enemies in a certain range. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put on the staff. Is it only if two-handing? Oh, it doesn't matter about two-handing, so I can even have this in my offhand. Oh, I can't swap my weapons whilst there's enemies. But yeah, look at this. It's just going to do my job for me. There we go. And if I put this in my offhand, my encumbrance goes up, so my damage goes up. Yeah, so at 41 encumbrance. And then all we should do is stand still, and we'll be incredibly strong. The Basilisk hisses, O withered earth. Alright. Let's chant this, and then let's just stand still. See if we can survive the Basilisk here. It looks like we will. Yep, we're incredibly strong. We've done it. Keep getting our strength here. Grab the Angie skirt, the garnet necklace, the storm lance, the bone knife. I'm going to put on that bone knife because that cares about us applying bleed. And then I think the build is almost done. Like, we are well on our way to getting an incredibly strong run here. This cares about inflame, don't really care, none of this really matters. We are well on our way here to infinite power. Does this care about encumbrance? On apply bleed, apply an equal stack of doom on the target. Hold the phone, that sounds insane. Yes, please. I don't even know what the enemies do. I don't care, because all I do is stand still. Yep, and the enemies around me just melt into dust because of our staff. Yeah, all we need to do is stand still, and then as the enemies approach me, as they get closer and closer, they'll just die to their own blood. Isn't that metal as shit? It's kind of badass, right? And then every time we're applying bleed as well, we're dealing blood damage to adjacent targets. And then we're just healing a bunch off of it all too. Yeah, this is huge. The enemies can like hardly even touch me. And for the most part, we're just going to be sacking things. We'll put this on. Sack this. And all of a sudden, like, we have so many things happening when we apply bleed. Just kind of insane. We can get more stuff. On dealing blood or physical damage, heal yourself and remove bleed from yourself. I don't want that. I don't want that, actually. That sounds bad. Another forbidden place. This thing's got range for days. I think I'll go here anyway. This guy does resist blood. But he's also here as well, so it kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll take these, but we'll probably just sack them all. Just that chest piece doesn't sound like it would work with our build. Now we just wait for all the enemies around us to die. And this is what I love about this game. It's a turn-based roguelike, but you can get some of the most broken, stupid builds ever. It is really fantastic. I'm sorry for the longer video today, but it's a game I just really enjoy. I kind of just like playing it. He was a little too far away from me. Okay, he's dead. I want to get... more stacks of Master Bleed. Is that only on attack? It is. Then what are we going to take then? In fact, this is all we can take, actually. I guess we're just going to put in all of our points into Bloodbath, I guess. In fact, whatever gives us that max HP bonus, right? This one, Gore-Tide? Yeah, we'll level up Gore-Tide now. Because that gives us extra max life. And does things with our missing life, so it synergizes quite well. This is great. It's going very well. So we just heal straight back up. We can get our speed up as well. We'd be cooking. We have that Divine Intervention ready too. These guys actually going to get close enough to me is the question. I will take Vigor just to get through this area. Plus, actually, the max life does equate to more damage. There we go. I will take Gore-Tide. There we go. Okay, grab all of this stuff and sack it all to empower my current equipment. Let's see here then. On dealing damage to yourself, deal blood damage to 3 adjacent enemies. That could synergize really well. I think I like that more, in fact. I will say though, this enemy looks really scary. Does resist blood, has corrosive touch, has mind hunting, whatever that means. Does 600 damage. Applies repulsion. It's only on being attacked though, that wouldn't trigger for us. I think I'm going to go for this, I feel like I can do it. Just need to stand still, pick a good spot. Yeah, this seems like a good spot. We spawned on top of an equipment. Here he is. Yeah, we're fine. They're not going to deal enough damage, and if we do get too much corrosion, I'll just take a step. And then the corrosion just all goes anyway. Wow, that was good. Grab all of this free loot. I'm going to put on that Crimson Helmet because we are dealing some self-damage to ourselves, which is going to help us deal the damage to everybody. Disgorgement, what's this do? Summons fire snakes. I think it looks terrifying. It also does 600 damage. Interesting. There's nothing here, right? And there's no allies to deal damage to. I think I'll just take this so I can level it all up. We're almost to the end here anyway. So yep, just stand still, let them come to you. Mwah. There's nothing they can do. I'm going to start leveling up willpower because I want the extra damage and extra healing. Something's stopping my healing, though. There we go. Get out of here. Alright, stand still. Just look at how much writing there is down here. There's just so much happening. And I wouldn't even begin to understand it. Like, I could read through this and, like, tell you everything that's happening. But again, we'd be here all day, and it's already been a really long video. So I'm just going to try and rush to the end of the run here. I do hope you've all enjoyed Path of Achra. It is one of my favourite classic roguelikes. I just wanted to show it up in today's video. It's a lot of fun. World's shortest Path of Achra video. Definitely. Yeah, builds like this are just kinda slow. Cosmic Hemlock Sash. Let's go. And let's sack all of this stuff. Don't think I actually want any of it. I'll keep the Shakara though. And the Obelisk. So this is our thingy. You gaze upon the obelisk, you see billowing lines of orange smoke, your nose wrinkles at the heady scent of decaying flowers. You see antlered effigies covered in blue rags. You hear a ferocious insectoid buzzing. You smell smoke. Here stands the god at the end of the world. And that is this guy, the horror giant, a towering figure of shimmering volatile substance, the god at the end of the world, unless it inhabits the obelisk. 30,000 health, 1,000 damage, and deals most of every debuff in the game. Isn't the final boss. We have plenty of armor, so I think we'll be able to just sort of tank this. Again, we're going to do the standstill strat. I don't think there's going to be many issues here. That guy did a lot of damage, but by the time he takes his turn, he's already dead. Take willpower again. There we go. I think I'm going to start putting some points into strength. Though, actually, I don't think there's any point in us having strength now. I think willpower is what I'm going to be scaling. And then, obviously, where's the thing giving me X HP? It's Gortide. So we're going to wait on Gortide. Okay, heal me, please. I'm going to jump in a little closer here. We're fine. I'm going to take Vigor now for the full heal. Take Gortide again. Oh, actually, what is healing me? Oh, it's to an adjacent unit. Interesting. So I'll take this now. This will heal me more. Moving onwards. Stand still. We should be indestructible. Yeah, as long as there's an enemy next to me, we just out-heal anything that comes in. So ranged enemies are my downfall. Luckily, I don't think the final boss is ranged, usually. So let them come to me. I think we're okay here. I will take strength. We're okay? Cool. Right. Should be the last one. No, not quite. I need to walk in here. Stand still. Stand still. Heal up. Little spooky. Does this heal me? Yes, it does. So that's my panic button. But we also just heal by standing still. So not too worried. Sweet. Moving on. Should be the last one now. Not quite. Let them come to you. Yeah, this should help. Because they all have to turn the corner. Yeah, before they can even see me, they're dead. Here he is. The horror giant apprehends you, little pilgrim. The end is near. I'm going to stand here so they have to come up to me, and then we're just going to stand still. Let's take the bigger now. Wow. This is just super strong build. Horror Giant isn't going to be able to do shit. Oh, maybe a little bit of shit. Let's chant Halhala. Some Uri. Oh wait, I'm dead. The Horror Giant disintegrates your body. You die. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm sorry it was a longer video today, but I hope you enjoyed Path of Achra. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really enjoy games like this. I just think they're really interesting. They're fun to just kind of switch your brain off sometimes, have a really strong overpowered run, and maybe sometimes die in one hit to the Horror Giant. Hope you all had fun. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye everybody.